What's up, guys? It is I, once again, Yusuf Al-Sanad, and today, guys, I want to talk about and review Sofia Coppola's 2017 period drama, The Beguiled, which was written, directed, and co-produced by Sofia Coppola alongside Yuri Henley, and The Beguiled is based on the novel of the same name, which initially was titled A Devil Painted, before the title was later changed to The Beguiled, and the novel itself was written by Thomas P. Cullinan, I think that's how you say his name, but he is a writer I'm not very familiar with. I do hope to read his novel soon, his novel series which includes The Beguiled, but this film, guys, is absolutely amazing. I love Sofia Coppola so much. She is one of my top 5 favorite filmmakers of all time. I love the stories that Sofia Coppola tells. Every one of her movies do have a special place in my heart, from The Virgin Suicides to Lost in Translation to Marie Antoinette to Somewhere to The Bling Ring, and of course we have The Beguiled. The Beguiled is a film which I really do love because it stars an all-female cast, almost an all-female cast. The Beguiled has only one male actor, that being Colin Farrell, the dashing Colin Farrell, and you have such amazing actresses like Nicole Kidman, Kirsten Dunst, Elle Fanning, my girl Elle Fanning, and you have Ona Lawrence, and this new actress who I'm not very familiar with. I wrote down her name right here because it's very hard for me to remember certain names. Her name is Angourie Rice, alongside 2 more new actresses. They include Emma Howard and Addison Reek. Each one of these women are so fantastic in their roles. The basic story to Sofia Coppola's Beguiled, we follow this young girl named Amy, who is played by Ona Lawrence, who stumbles upon this man, a corporal named John McBurney. John McBurney is played by Colin Farrell, and he is a corporal of the Union Army. The Beguiled takes place during the Civil War from 1961 to 1965. Only this period in time in the Beguiled takes place 3 years into the war. Actually, I'm sorry about that. It takes place 4 years into the Civil War, and it's 1 year before the Civil War is about to come to an end. I had to correct myself right there. I'm sorry about that. But basically, Amy stumbles upon this corporal and she offers to take him back home. Amy's home, which is a seminary for women, a place where women who are either lonely or women who have lost those they love, specifically the men of their lives. The corporal was very unsure of this, but the corporal being injured because he is barely able to walk, so he has no choice but to accept the offer of this young girl, Amy, and so she takes him to the seminary, and the seminary itself used to have more students, more teachers, and they used to own slaves. Only the students, teachers, and the slaves who once occupied this plantation, the women's seminary, but most of them have left, and there are only 5 women that remained, 5 students, 1 teacher, and 1 head of the women's seminary, that being Nicole Kidman's character, Miss Martha Farnsworth. The 5 students includes Amy, Alicia, you also have Marie, Emily, and Jane, and then you have the teacher who is played by Kirsten Dunst. Kirsten Dunst's character, whose name is Edwina Merrow. When Amy comes home to the women's seminary, bringing with her the corporal John McBurney, all of the women are so scared to see this man because they haven't seen a man in a very long time. That and the fact that this man is a Yankee, as they call him. For you guys and gals who don't know what a Yankee is, he is basically a part of the Union Army, and since these women are in support of the Confederate Army, and these women obviously provide shelter for the Confederate Army, but this is the very first time that they have a Union official stumble upon their home by accident because he was badly injured, and these women, some of them constantly berate and call him names, such names like Blue Belly, which is a very derogatory term for those who are part of the Union Army or those who share the Union Army's belief and political views. At first, Miss Martha Farnsworth was very reluctant to accept this man, Corporal John McBurney, into their seminary, but Amy begs her and pleads with her to accept him in because John McBurney has become a very close friend with Amy. Either that or Amy is way too trusting to other people, considering that she is a good girl and just like the other women has strong Christian values. She has a very good heart, but most of these women have never been outside the seminary seminary. So of course the other women, and Miss Martha Farnsworth included, would be very worried about accepting this man, since she is worried about their safety and wants them to protect themselves and to always be cautious, especially when it comes to the outside world, because most of these women are not ready to go out there and to start a living for themselves, which is why Miss Martha Farnsworth's intention as the head of the seminary is to educate these women, specifically the younger ones, which includes Amy, Jane, Marie, Emily, and of course Alicia. So that is why she wants to protect them from this man, but she eventually accepts him in, and from there the women of the seminary welcome in John McBurney, who at first was treated as an outcast. He was treated like an outsider and a prisoner of sorts, and over time they show him more kindness and more acceptance until eventually he's able to leave the seminary, leave them at peace, and he can be on his way. And just like the title suggests, the Beguiled, John McBurney's charm works on the women, and each one of the women start to warm up to him, to accept him. Some of them fall in love with the guy. So as charming and sweet as John McBurney is, his charm can be quite deceptive, because they do not know who the real John McBurney is. And Colin Farrell, guys, is absolutely amazing. Each one of the women are so great in their roles, but Colin Farrell is so fantastic at playing these two characters, these two very different characters. And during the second act of the movie, Colin Farrell's transformation is so amazing. I really love his character. Colin Farrell can be very charming, he can be sweet and generous, but deep down, Colin Farrell's character, John McBurney, can be quite dark and quite volatile. Sofia Coppola's The Beguiled is a really great film. I love the movie so much. Her writing is absolutely great. I love the way she tells her story, the way every shot is framed. This movie looks so stunning. I am so allured by this movie. The Beguiled is just as alluring as the women themselves. Each of the women are so beautiful, so ravishing. Nicole Kidman as Miss Martha Farnsworth is so good. I love her character so much, and how she plays a significant mother figure role to these women. She does care about them and treats them like her own children, her own daughters, and she's very protective of them, especially against men like John McBurney, who at first she does trust, but she has every reason to not trust this man, because trust me guys, the title itself is not for show, it's not. And then you have women like Kirsten Dunst, Elle Fanning, Ona Lawrence. Once again, I'm going to read down the other women's names. They include Ungary Rice, Emma Howard, and Addison Reek. They are all so good, but Kirsten Dunst in particular is someone I really do love as an actress. Kirsten Dunst as Edwina Murrow is someone I do sympathize with. She appears to be a very independent, strong-minded woman, just like Miss Martha Farnsworth. Edwina Murrow, however, is far from that. Edwina is someone who is very fragile, very sensitive, and she has but one wish, and that is to leave this place, the seminary. So when John McBurney comes into their home, their seminary, their family, you could say, she wants nothing more than to leave this place, if she has to leave with him, because just like I mentioned before, 3 of the women who fall in love with John McBurney, they include Edwina Murrow. Edwina Murrow falls deeply in love with him and wants to leave with him, and it's very heartbreaking to see her story conclude, because I really do care about Edwina Murrow. She feels trapped, she feels like a prisoner in the seminary. The same can be said about some women like Alicia or Jane, who feel trapped and they feel like they can't leave the place until the war is over. And this movie emphasizes strongly how the war is very corrupt, how war is wrong, and no matter which side you're on, whether the Confederates or the Union Army, so many lives are lost, and no matter who wins, the casualty is so great. These people, America as a whole, will never be the same. And while to this day there is still war going on, atrocious war which should never have happened, the Civil War is an example of how horrible war is and what it can do to the people. Such people like the women of the seminary, and of course John McBurney, who no matter his faults is just a man who is scared, a man who doesn't want to die. And what happens to these women and John McBurney nearing the end of the film, the end of the story, it's really heartbreaking, and that's one of the best qualities I love in true storytelling. Stories that presents characters who you do care about, characters who show their good and bad qualities. Characters, while complex, you do understand their motivations, their desires, their intentions, and when the story nears the end, you do understand them, you care for them, and the consequences for their actions and decisions will have a huge impact on the lives of the people that they touch, the people they've grown close with, which is all done masterfully well in Sofia Coppola's The Beguiled. I love this movie so much. The performances of Colin Farrell and all the women are so good. I love Sofia Coppola's direction, her writing. If I do plan at some point to purchase and read the novel itself, it will be because of Sofia Coppola's adaptation of his story, an adaptation which is so fantastic. I love this movie so much, guys, and I do recommend you guys and gals watch it. It's such a great movie, worth your time. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe if you wish, and do check out my gaming channel where I do Let's Play series, gaming content, all that kind of good stuff. Until next time, peace out, take care, adios, amigos, au revoir, and sayonara.